So, I'm not trying to multitask, but I have to at this point because now I'm driving. All right, so getting back on subject at hand. Okay, so my research began. My research began because I initially thought that it was bipolarism, if that's the word. But anyway, I thought it was having to do with him being bipolar because he liked things in order, not just like your average Joe or Jane. It's very in order, like his surroundings, everything's together. Like I'll use the closet as an example. The closet, all the shirts, his whatever. Put it this way: work gears together. Whatever his, let's say he's a sports person, and all of his sports wear is all together. If it's just hanging out, just I don't know, entertaining on the town or hanging out with your friends, all that's in order. Everything has this specific place in his closet, as well as the shoes. But that was one of the things that actually turned me on, and that I liked, that I thought was very intriguing, because I've always wanted someone that was, neat and very into their surroundings as far as neatness and organization. I don't like people just, I'm not gonna say I don't like people that just whatever, but at the end of the day, I prefer a person that's kind of tidy, and that's one of the things that really turned me on about him, that he was very tidy, and that's the way I looked at it at that point in time, because it just appeared that he was very tidy and organized, and I like that. Any woman would like that, for the most part. So then that's why I thought it was more about him being him being bipolar. And again, because my research began, I didn't know what to think, what was what, because my research showed me a vast majority of people with those traits was bipolar or bipolar people. But then as I dug deeper, because then as I began to continue my research, I understood that, hey, wait, this is not really bipolar. So that's why you have to do your research. You have to really do your research and really understand all the symptoms that person is signaling off to you. Okay, so I'm glad that I didn't just stop there and just say, oh, he's bipolar. 1 minute he's cool, and I'm happy with the relationship. Then the next minute, he spazzed out. But no, it was deeper. And I guess my intuition showed me that it was more than just him being bipolar. Okay, I'm not making any disorder less than the other, but however, I just realized that bipolar was not what the issue was at hand. Okay, so I realized at some point, just kind of fast forward, I realized at some point that it was not any of the things that I had kind of potentially thought that it could be. Bipolar, a certain personality disorder, as far as I don't know, it was just so many things I saw. I can't remember all the disorders that I saw doing my research, but for some reason the narcissist stuck out. Okay, I'm assuming it was more traits that I saw in that particular personality trait, personality. I don't know what word I'm looking for, but anyhow, I realized that it was narcissism that I was potentially dealing with. So my research, again, like I said, it begun so intense, because once I started to realize what I was dealing with, I didn't become, I wouldn't say fearful, but it was unsettling. It was very uncomfortable, because at the end of the day, I realized that, hey, this is all new to me. I mean, at least to my understanding, I've never dealt with a person like this before. I just know it was different. It was odd and strange. So, anyways, that was I was on a quest, and then I just kept getting more and more understanding to what was going on with the personality type that I was dealing with. So after I continued to look into it and realize that I was actually with a narcissist, I think I went then into the stage of thinking I can fix it and make it better. And I did that. I did that for a long time. And then I realized, hey, that was totally out of my league, you know? But then I thought, okay, well, if I show love, you know, give love, make them understand and make them understand that, hey, I love you. I really don't care what's going on with you. However, it makes me uncomfortable and I don't like it. But at the end of the day, I'm willing to work with you. I'm willing to help you understand what's going on with yourself. So maybe you can be a better version of yourself. Because that's what we try to do on a normal basis every day, just within ourselves. We try to become better versions of ourselves, you know. So I just assumed that he would want to become a better version of himself. Okay. All right. So fast forwarding to the destruction of, we eventually got married. Okay. So as I mentioned before in another video, in the highlights of this video, as I inserted everything kind of together, but I realized that, again, this was something that I just wasn't equipped to handle. You know, my loving nature, yeah, that's one thing. But at the end of the day, my loving nature does not set me up for the hours and hours of clinical study that I'm sure a lot of therapists or more professional people that's very familiar with this, not just by dealing with a person because, you know, like this, that you're in a relationship with, but more on a clinical level of understanding, you know, someone that really put in the hours and the time and the research, you know, got down in the trenches of I guess, interviewing people and everything that comes with the clinical aspect of understanding this profession that those type of people involve themselves in, into trying to understand the psyche, I guess, of a person that is a narcissist. Okay, so we get married. Okay, even with the planning of the marriage, that was an issue. Okay, the issue meaning we're finding, and I did most of the work because I'm finding people to try to make this smooth transition into marriage as far as our actual vow exchanges and you know, the reception and all that. I wanted it to be really nice and enjoyable and just memorable, I guess, you know, like everybody else. That's what we look for when we have a ceremony when it comes to marriage. Okay, so there was definitely some turbulence there as well. I started to feel like, okay, you have your agenda, and you know, but it should be about both of us. But I clearly began to understand this was about him looking good and having the spotlight and looking the best that he could be in front of their all involved, meaning the wedding planner, which was a friend of mine, okay, the pastor who also did our premarital counseling, even the people that was going to be, you know, at the location that we were having our wedding reception at, okay, after the marriage. So it was a very small, intimate wedding. We only had like a couple of people there, okay? And so we kind of talked about who was going to be there, and the fact that he said that he doesn't have a lot of, you know, his family, they're not really close like that. But it was almost, literally, it was almost like a day or two that I even realized that some of his relatives were going to be there, and that was fine. It's just that, I guess, I don't know. I'm just going to leave that out because I really don't know, neither here nor there, what that really was about. But to my understanding, you know, I had a couple of my friends there, and we really was just looking for something, again, that was more intimate, just like a witness or two, of course, and a pastor to marry us and what have you. And so, but anyway, his a few of his family members ended up being there, like his mom, which is totally okay. His niece, I'm sorry, his cousin, and his aunt and his daughter, and that was fine. But I didn't know that going in. I'm assuming that he was just uncomfortable with the whole aspect of them being there, but they were there and it was okay. What was odd to me was the fact that they were there, but it's almost like they didn't acknowledge me, and this is our wedding day and we're getting married. It was like a side area of the chapel of the church. And so I'm like, okay, well, we're married. We did our vow exchanges. Everything was just so sweet and nice. It went really, really, really smooth. But after the ceremony, I didn't get anything about congratulations from the mom or the aunt or the cousin or we're glad you're a part of the family now. Congratulations. No hug, no, nothing. I'm talking literally nothing verbally spoken to me. Okay. So anyway, we took our pictures and everything. If anybody was to look at the pictures, it would appear that, okay, this was a very nice or beautiful little ceremony that went really, really well. But those photos to me spoke something totally different. That was a facade. Like everybody, they were there supporting him or supporting the ceremony, but at the end of the day, there was really nothing being said, at least to me as the wife. And I had like two of my friends were there. That again, we had talked about them being there because they helped me throughout the whole thing. So yeah, it was strange. It was a strange setting. It really was. So I'm gonna end this video right about here, and then we'll start up again. Okay. All right, see you in a minute.